Actually, Dan is. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm Wayne Salinger, and I'll be your worship associate for today. To everyone here in the sanctuary, outside on the pavilion, watching live via the internet, or viewing us later on, we are extremely glad for your presence. Please know that we welcome all of you, and we are happy to share this service with you. As Unitarian Universalists, we welcome all who enter our sanctuary, regardless of race, creed, gender identity, and diversity of backgrounds. Love and acceptance are core principles that we try to exemplify, whether we are here worshiping or leading our lives outside the sanctuary. Are there any people here who are here for the first, second, third, or more times? There you go. Yeah. We are so glad that you have joined us today and hope you will stay with us for a bit after the service for refreshments and something extra special today. And now to lead our service is Reverend Tony Fisher.
Thank you, Wayne, and a round of applause for Wayne. It's his first worship associate experience. Woo, woo!
Thank you.
So as Wayne said, we have something special today. We have the Coalition of Immokalee Workers joining us for part of the service this morning, and also for a wonderful cultural experience afterwards. And for those of you here, a chance to do something today, right now, to help one of the causes that we celebrate a lot here at UUCGN. So I'm grateful for Wayne. I'm grateful for the Coalition of Immokalee Workers who have joined us in force today, and we'll be talking with them a little. Just so you know, our hospitality crew is down just a few people today, and we can talk about at least one of those later on, but if you have the spirit of service in you today, please feel free to see Bill Halbrick after the service, and he can put you to work helping out in the kitchen and out on the pavilion. Today, the bus to the vigil will leave outside our doors at 2 o'clock. I hope you can be there. This may be maybe the penultimate visit down to the detention center. We hope, in many ways, that this closure is really happening. We're keeping our guard up just in case. But if you can join us this afternoon, please feel free to do so. And next Sunday after the service, we have an emergency response training here in the sanctuary during our usual forum time. So this is the training that we've received in the past, not the same training, but continuous training that we've received along with the Naples Jewish congregation to make sure that this facility and each one of us is safe in the case of an emergency. So please join us after the service next week. Also, I just want to express my gratitude for all of you for being here and whatever traffic was going on out there. I don't know if you had to work your way through it or whether you came through it or not, but I'm grateful you're all here. So let's take a deep breath and settle ourselves for the service with this morning's prelude. In this place of peace, may we find hope. In this place of connection, may we find community. In this place of rest, let us feel the unrest of our hearts calling us to work for justice. In this place made sacred by memory, let us each feel ourselves part of the new that grows from the old. Let's join together in our chalice lighting response on the screen and in your orders of service. May this flame stir our hearts and remind us of our mission to be truly great, to grow in mind and spirit, and to widen the circle of peace, justice, and love. And let's rise in body or spirit and join in singing our opening hymn. Come sing a song with me. It's number 346 in the gray hymnal. Words will be on the screen. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Please be seated. And I'd like to invite up to join me here Lupe Gonzalo, who's a senior staff member at the Coalition. And she spoken here before and recently spoke at a conference on food sustainability at Yale University. And Marcos Martins, who leads, among other things, at the CIW, the Faith Working Group, and let's turn that on, of which I'm a part, and so he is my liaison to the CIW. And welcome. Buenos dias. I wanted to ask Lupe a number of questions this morning. And first of all, thank you for bringing the whole team here this morning, and we're looking forward to what happens afterwards. So the Coalition of Immokalee Workers exists because of the difficulties that farm workers have historically had in the fields, both here in Florida and, of course, elsewhere. And I hope that Lupe can sort of give us a fuller description of the kind of issues that farm workers face from your own experience.
La coalición existe para hablar de las aquí en Florida, en otros lugares. Entonces quería escuchar más sobre la experiencia de los trabajadores de una persona que fue trabajadora también.
Sí, pues buenos días y gracias por tenernos aquí y pues por recibir al equipo de la coalición.
Well, good morning. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having us here today, and thank you for receiving us into your space.
Y pues sí, como trabajadora, yo trabajé 12 años trabajando en los campos de tomate mayormente y pues sí, como trabajadores se enfrentan muchos abusos dentro del lugar de trabajo.
Yes, well, I worked as a worker in the tomato fields for about 12 years, and yes, as workers, we experience a lot of abuse in our workplace.
Muchos de esos abusos que uno enfrenta pues es el robo de salario, muchas veces también el no tener agua, no tener descansos, no tener sombra.
Some of the abuses that we faced as workers is systemic wage theft, no access to clean water during work, no access to rest breaks, no access to bathrooms.
En muchos de los casos más extremos, pues las mujeres lo que enfrentaban era el acoso sexual. El acoso sexual era como el pan de cada día para uno como trabajadora.
And in some extreme cases, female farm workers often faced sexual harassment. And at times it felt as if sexual harassment was the daily bread for female farm workers.
Entonces, otro de los abusos grandes es la esclavitud moderna, donde trabajadores son privados de su libertad, muchas veces amenazados, incluso de muerte.
And another very extreme abuse was that some workers were being held in modern-day slavery. They weren't free, and a lot of times they were threatened, even to the point of death.
Entonces, yo me uní a la coalición y pues la coalición ha luchado por muchos años para luchar para los derechos humanos. Se creó el programa de comida justa. Entonces, como trabajadora pude ver los cambios que pasaron cuando el rancho donde yo estaba trabajando entró dentro del programa de comida justa.
I joined the Coalition of Immokalee Workers because I saw that it was fighting for many years for human rights of farm workers to be respected and uplifted. And through their victories, they were able to establish the Fair Food Program. And as a worker, I saw firsthand the real changes that were brought to a farm when the farm that I was working at became part of the Fair Food Program.
So the Fair Food Program is a monitored program, and where farms sign up to be part of the program, as do other organizations all up the food chain. And the farm workers and the fields are monitored by a separate group of people who come in and make sure that those benefits that the farm workers should be having every day, and of course making sure that abuse doesn't happen on multiple fronts. So that was set up in the early 2000s and has served many of the farms and the farm workers, but not all. So what has been the difference, Lupe, before Fair Food Program and now after the program?
¿Cuál es la diferencia en los ranchos que tienen ahora que son hoy con el programa, contrastando con antes fuera del programa?
Sí, bueno, por ejemplo, ahorita los trabajadores tenemos acceso a agua limpia para tomar, descansos, que era uno de los problemas, ¿verdad?, que antes uno enfrentaba, hay sombras, entonces los trabajadores podemos tomar descansos cuando se necesita.
Well, now, to mention one of the things that has changed from the Fair Food Program is that now workers actually have access to clean drinking water while they're working. They have access to take rest breaks, which was a very dangerous part of their job, that they weren't allowed to take any rest breaks before. And they even have access to shade tents where they can rest in the shade for a little bit as well.
Y los problemas como el acoso sexual o la esclavitud moderna es ahora un lugar de trabajo seguro. Se previene que estos abusos están pasando a través de sesiones de educación de trabajador a trabajador que hacemos en los ranchos.
And those extreme cases of abuse that I mentioned, such as sexual harassment and sexual assault of farm workers and cases of modern-day slavery, are also prevented because we visit farms in the Fair Food Program and we do worker-to-worker education sessions where we educate them about their rights under the program.
Y como trabajadores tenemos una voz en el lugar de trabajo. Básicamente los trabajadores se convierten automáticamente en el propio monitor de sus derechos en los ranchos porque pueden reportar, pueden hablar y no tienen miedo para reportar cuando está pasando algún problema.
And as workers, for the first time in the Fair Food Program, we actually have a voice. We're able to be the first-hand monitors of our workplace, and if there's any abuse or injustice going on, we can report that to the Fair Food Standards Council that Reverend Tony mentioned, and workers don't have to be afraid to make those reports because the program also protects them from any retaliation that they might face from speaking out.
And this isn't, unfortunately, not universal across all the farms and all the organizations. I know we're still working on Wendy's and Kroger right now, especially. Publix is one that hasn't signed on to the FAIR program, but many organizations, large chains, have signed on, which is great. And this is a model that other industries have also begun to follow, this worker-based social responsibility model. And what can you share, at least about some of those partners that you have?
¿Qué puedes compartir sobre los parceros o los parejas que están trabajando con nosotros para traer el modelo del programa para sus industrias?
Sí, pues lo bonito que tiene el programa es que se puede usar en otras industrias. Otros trabajadores pueden utilizar este modelo para hacer cambios en su lugar de trabajo.
Yes, the beauty of the worker-driven social responsibility model that's used in the program is that it can be used in other industries. Other workers and other worker groups can bring the WSR model to their own industry.
Right.
Entonces hay trabajadores en la industria de leche, hay trabajadores en la industria textiles que están usando el modelo o elementos del modelo para hacer esos cambios.
And we've worked with workers in the dairy industry in Vermont who have also created their own program and brought the worker-driven social responsibility model to their industry, as well as textile workers in Bangladesh. And so we've seen that they're able to bring the worker-driven social responsibility model or some of the elements of it to their own workplaces.
Y ahorita pues estamos colaborando con la industria de la caña en India, que trabajadores pues fuera del programa de comida justa todavía siguen enfrentando abusos bastante graves.
And right now we're working with sugarcane workers in India who are still outside of the program and still face very serious abuses.
Uno de los ejemplos que voy a compartir tiene que ver con las mujeres que trabajan en esta industria.
One of the abuses that I'm going to mention as an example has to do with the female workers in particular that are working in the sugarcane industry in India.
Y esto es algo que salió, ¿verdad?, en un reportaje que se hizo en donde dicen que las mujeres en la India son mutiladas para que no tengan que tener su menstruación, que no puedan tener hijos, porque eso les da pues para que puedan seguir trabajando y no tengan excusas para no ir a trabajar.
This was something that came out in The Guardian, actually. They did a report that many female sugarcane workers in India are given hysterectomies so that they will not have their menstruation cycle or be able to become pregnant so that they will not miss a day of work and don't have excuses to miss work.
Entonces, esas son cosas que siguen pasando fuera del programa de comida justa. Por eso para nosotros seguir expandiendo el modelo, seguir expandiendo el programa es algo urgente porque sigue habiendo muchos problemas.
And so this is something that we continue to work towards, because outside of the Fair Food Program and outside of industries that use the worker-driven social responsibility model, these abuses are still going on. And so we continue doing our work to expand it outward so that other workers can also be protected.
And we are an important piece of that. Each one of us, as we go to the grocery store, choose the stores that we go to, choose the fast food chains we might frequent, we need to understand which of these organizations are part of the Fair Food Program or not. We also need to understand where the food we're eating comes from, so that we know whether we are supporting the farm workers or we are not. And that's a heavy load, but it's part of our job, because the worker-driven social responsibility model counts on the consumer to put pressure on the top organizations in the food chain, which then will bring a relief to those further down in the chain. And so it's such an important program, and it's proven to work so well. But we are indeed part of that cycle, and we need to be aware. I want to just sort of remind folks, or maybe you don't know already, that this congregation has supported the CIW a lot in the past, even before I arrived here in the mid-2010s, and providing early recognition, early support to the coalition as they really began to figure out how to change the market. So we have that experience, and also on a much higher level, the CIW has been supported on an annual basis by the Beach Fund of the UUA, which is a fund created by one of the congregations on Long Island, who were given, in fact, an oil well. And that oil well has continued to fund that program, and they continue to fund important justice work all around the country. So we're taking the fossil fuel industry and pushing it towards social responsibility itself. I want to finish by asking you about your dress and where that comes from, and will you actually be dancing too, Lupe, today?
Sí.
Quiero preguntar un poco sobre tu traje típico, si puedes explicar un poco de qué representa, y también quería saber si vas a bailar hoy también en el evento.
Sí, voy a bailar con otros compañeros que están allá muy listos.
Yes, I will be dancing with some of my colleagues that are out there, and they're ready to do it.
Pues es un traje típico de Guatemala. En Guatemala muchas regiones tienen diferentes trajes típicos, entonces no tengo uno mero de mi región, pero son como trajes que se usan diariamente en la vida de las mujeres en Guatemala.
Well, this traditional cultural wear that you see me wearing today is from Guatemala, where I'm from. And in Guatemala, different regions have different cultural wear that's significant to their region. I don't have one from my exact region, but I am wearing this one to represent my culture.
Awesome. And after the service, the post-salute today, the marimba band will be, the marimba, because it's just one, but three players and one marimba, will be striking up as our post-salute, and I'm inviting everybody out to come and enjoy some Mexican and Guatemalan pastries, as well as the marimba music and some folk dance from Mexico and Guatemala. And again, as I said, we'll be called to action, and I believe there's a postcard action that we can all take part on. So this is a wonderful thing. We learn, we grow, and we act. So perfect for this congregation, and thank you so much for being here. Gracias. Let's remain seated and join in our centering hymn, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. It's number 1008 in the Teal hymnal. We'll sing the first two verses. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy holy place. When we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, our heart is in a holy place. We are blessed with love and amazing grace when our heart is in a holy place. When we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving heart, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. Then our heart is in a holy place. Muchas gracias. And thank you all for your presence today. This is our time to share with one another those joys and sorrows that we carry with us each and every day, those personal things that bubble up and bring us that wonderful sense of uplift, and also those things that cause us concern. If you have a joy or sorrow that you'd like to share this morning, please raise your hand. I'll bring you the microphone. Tell us your name and what's in your heart this morning, joys and sorrows.
Morning, everyone. I'm Cynthia Scher. As many of you might know, I and my husband have been looking to move to Spain for our retirement, which is imminent. And we just came back from a week there and found our apartment. Ooh. So that's my joy. I do have a pretty profound sorrow. My daughter had been seeing a guy. It was 10 years ago, fortunately. And he just murdered his wife and killed himself with his young children in the car. And I knew the guy and he was a nice guy, but I know that he was suffering as well. So I just would hope that you send your hearts to that family and those children. There's a GoFundMe for them as well. It's in Marana, Arizona. So if you look on Facebook or elsewhere, you'll probably find the article about it.
Thank you, Cynthia. Wow.
Thanks. Good morning. I'm Diane Keys. Yesterday we had the Juneteenth event, and it rained the whole time. And as I listened to the song about walking in the rain, I just thought about how great it was for the UU to be there, for Emerson Academy, who had a table, and everyone who was out walking in the rain with us yesterday. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bill Haubrick from Hospitality, and Tony's words really spread. I've already had a number of volunteers come up and say they'll help me, as I'm 5 short today in the kitchen. So I only need really maybe 1 or 2 volunteers. As you go out in the pavilion, you'll see it's beautifully decorated by our Immokalee friends. The food is straight ahead. If you want coffee and water, go to the left as you exit the side door. Thank you.
Just like Pine Ridge, we've got a change in traffic pattern.
Good morning. My name's Bill McCormick. I work with Emerson Academy. I have a joy for the Immokalee folks. A year or 2 ago, we had one of your young spokespersons come to UU, and because we made an arrangement with the Guadalupe Center, we had students from Immokalee High School. And the joy is that the spokesperson His name is Saul Reyes, okay? He got a full ride to the University of Chicago. He's in political science. I think he'll become an activist lawyer. And we have a young lady who got a full ride to Wesleyan University, and another young man who got a full ride to Berea College. And there may be some more, but that's a joy I wanted to share. And we're glad that you're here today.
Thanks, Bill.
Hi, I'm Joan Stewart. I just figured everybody keeps asking me what happened, so I might as well just tell you, save you the trouble. I fell on April the 20th, hit my face, broke my wrist, broke the radius and ulna, had surgery on May the 5th, and so it's going to be a long haul getting back to normal. But I'm alive. My blood pressure went so high in the hospital that they kept me in the ER they kept me in ICU for a couple of days. So I'm just happy to be here, and I'm gradually, slowly but surely with PT, going to be able to play violin again eventually. But I just wanted to thank everybody. Everybody's so kind coming up and talking to me and hearing your stories. And I hear the stories of all the people who broke their feet and broke their shoulders and broke their wrists. And it's really nice to hear that people have gotten through it and they're back to normal eventually. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Cheryl Nunes, representing the Aesthetics Committee. We've been enjoying our 50th anniversary. Just to let you know that at the end of this month, we will be ending the exhibit in our art gallery. So if there are any of you that would like to remove your works of art, please feel free to do so. And so we had a great opening, and we'll continue to enjoy our 50th.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Good morning. My name is Frank Cambra. I had a recent joy. About a week ago, this lady that had helped me through the time with my wife, I was able to take her on her first cruise, and she was like a kid in a candy store. So it was just so nice watching her, going up to the bridge where we took a tour of the whole ship, and then going snorkeling and just everything. She just had a fantastic time. So it was just so nice watching her enjoy herself for everything she did for me.
Thank you. Thanks, Frank.
I have a joy this morning that I think we all share, that Reverend Tony Fisher has been not only interested in, but committed to the issues of Immokalee and farm workers, and he has enabled us to better understand all of it. My thanks to Tony.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Joanne Womack, and I have a great joy, and that is my best friend in the world, Anna Langford. She lives in, not Immokalee, she lives in, what? Gainesville. No, you don't live in Gainesville. Where do you live? Alachua, which is just north of Gainesville. She says Gainesville because it's easier. Anyway, she and I have known each other since we were 7, and we've been friends all those years, and our husbands were best friends. Unfortunately, they're both passed now, but we're still here, and we still love each other. And she came down to celebrate my birthday, which is today.
Oh! Well, happy birthday, and we know what an incredible gift that Anne was to you during your time of sorrow, so we're so glad you're here with us this morning. Let's join together in a time of meditation followed by some silence. Spirit of life and love, God of our deepest understanding. We honor all that has been shared, and we are mindful of all that has remained unspoken within these walls. We sit now together in silence, aware and grateful for the gifts of this community. Here, each of us has been welcomed, accepted for who we are, and supported in our ongoing quest for truth and meaning. We've come with our faults and our weaknesses as well as our talents and strengths. We have come in need of healing and, by our simple presence, to help others heal. Love is the power that holds us together, and it is love that rests at the center of our values. Our mission to build a larger community of peace, justice, and love begins simply by living our values and intentionally creating space for each other through the spiritual discipline of love. In honoring the dignity and worthiness of every person who comes through our doors, in embracing our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect, in providing a place where everyone has the opportunity to flourish. We do our small part to build the world we dream about, here and now. Let's share some time in silence.
We are all here in our homes, churches, and the world at large because someone decided to make room for us in their lives. Our very first experience, even though we were not conscious of it, was of our mothers deciding to make space for us in their wombs. Yeah. This was the most generous gift because it presupposed that we would occupy approximately 9 months inside the womb. After a sometimes painful transition, we would continue to occupy a place in their homes for at least 18 years and in their hearts for the rest of their lives. If our parents were successful, they would have taught us to pay forward this welcoming attitude throughout our lives. As we developed, others joined us along the journey, brothers, sisters, and friends, each in their own way making room for us. Outside of the home, we found a place in classrooms, homes, and places of worship. This, however, was not a universal attitude outside of the home. When we left our safe haven, we entered a new world, slightly less welcoming than our previous existence provided. In college, we were exposed to another, newer world. It could have been radically foreign to us, totally different from the one we left behind. People could be happy or sad, calm or tense, aloof or open. Yet in this arena, we developed some of the closest relationships of our lives. In a very real sense, others made room for us in their lives as we in turn made room for them in ours. It can be difficult to maintain this attitude towards others, but most of us here have managed to do so. After college, we transitioned into another portion of life. We created families, work, and social relationships, and new friends, all the while holding on to and reflect on the choices we made in life. So, with the help of family, friends, and loved ones, we moved on to the next step in life, forgiveness. Many brilliant minds have opined about this very subject. Alan Paton wrote, "When a deep injury is done to us, we never recover until we forgive." Mark Twain gave his opinion, "Forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet sheds on the heel that has crushed it." Alexander Pope contributed this familiar refrain, "To err is human, to forgive divine." And Maya Angelou and Mahatma Gandhi wrote respectively, "It's one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself, to forgive everybody. And the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong." Finally, Paul Bowes wrote, "Forgiveness does not change the past, but it does enlarge the future." All of which begs the question, while we are here in a safe place among family and friends, what's next? Where do we go from here? Not all of us, however, had such an ideal upbringing or found ourselves in a place where we could exercise forgiveness. Some of us had to survive in a cruel world, not seeing through the miasma of fear that pervades the world to imagining a better way of life for everyone. Most of the people I meet here at UCGN arrived under the same cloud. Most of us were simply searching for a safe place to be. I would say that we have all met or experienced these disagreeable types and events. It is difficult to create space for an outsider when it appears there is no place being created for us. For many of us, this has been more than just a personal challenge. It has involved the very real possibility of peril for our lives. On a personal level, every time I've gone out to Alligator Alcatraz, although I have been and continue to be welcomed by the Miccosukee and Seminole tribes, coalition of churches, secular groups, and families of the prisoners interred there, I have encountered those that drive by just to voice their negative opinions by way of a middle finger or other political jibes directed at the vigil. There are many people without the benefit of a liberal, open upbringing who, do not understand why being closed off to the wider world is not only detrimental to the entire country, it is also hurtful to themselves. So what are we to do to fulfill any obligation to these others? Do we go out of our way to get hold of them and drag them to our congregation? Not likely. I propose that the answer lies in patience and timing. If you pay attention to the polls, we are in a moment of flux, political, ethically, and morally. Never, at least since the 1960s, has the U.S. society so uniformly turned against the sins of racism, misogyny, LGBTQ plus prejudice, and the moral decay that has infected our country from the lowest places to the highest of our leaders. Many who supported the current hatred for years are beginning to realize that this attitude runs counter to the moral upbringing that they adopted years ago as children. The light has started to shine into the dark places. I'm not suggesting that these ills are going to be cured overnight. This American social experiment has always been slow to change and is constantly ebbing and flowing. What I am saying is that if someone you have met appears to be on the precipice of changing their opinion, let them know there is an empty seat for them in our world, for them to sit and take time to rethink everything. We will not judge them harshly or reject their ideas. We are, after all, a welcoming community. Mother Teresa probably expressed it best when she advocated for small interpersonal efforts, saying, "Do not wait for leaders. Do it alone, person to person."
I looked in the sanctuary this morning before everybody got here, and I saw Wayne up at the podium practicing, I guess, and I said, "Who is that?" He didn't have his hat on, and I didn't recognize him. It's okay now, I guess. I don't know. And Dan, I think we'll skip the slide piece for this section. Okay. Along with our fellow creatures, those that walk, fly, crawl, swim, along with every plant and bacteria and all the lands and seas, we are part of a complex, interdependent web that transcends us all. And while the balance in nature has always been fluid and changeable, we know that through most of our short evolutionary history, Homo sapiens have had to be deeply aware and respectful of the environment, living humbly within its balance. The source of many of our human and environmental problems is that not everyone comprehends the implications of these fundamental truths. Somewhere in the course of our 300,000-year evolution, perhaps as recently as the end of the last ice age and the beginnings of agriculture, only 10 to 12,000 years ago, our species slowly began to lose its strong sense of connection with nature as we learned to control our environment and one another. This trend has only accelerated in the last 200 years since the beginnings of the Industrial Revolution, as people's connection to nature has declined by about 60%. This, according to Professor Miles Richardson at the University of Derby in Ireland, who tracks data on urbanization, the loss of wildlife near neighborhoods, and, crucially, with fewer and fewer parents passing on an engagement with nature to their children. Richardson calls this an extinction of experience. And while throughout the centuries mystics and poets have tried to remind us of the great oneness of all things, it has only been within the last half-century that humans have begun to comprehend once again our interdependence with all of nature through the gift of science and perhaps through the miracle of spaceflight that has allowed us to look back upon the earth and see it in its beautiful blue-green wholeness. Our problem-solving ability as a species has in many ways brought us far from our origins, taken us to incredible places, and allowed us to expand our habitats to the full reaches of the planet. We have become the ultimate apex predator, having exercised our dominion over nature. Unfortunately, even as we develop and then outgrow our technologies from the arrow point to the newest phone app at an ever-increasing speed, we have not outgrown our tribalism. Human beings have always experienced tension when coming into contact with another group of our own kind. But anthropologists like Lawrence H. Keeley, who taught at the University of Illinois, and Stephen A. LeBlanc at Harvard, have argued that the stakes rose with the onset of permanent agricultural settlements and the storing of valuable resources, and the herding of livestock. This new reality fostered a more systemic fear of the other, as raids over grain stores or grazing land often became a matter of life or death. Our competitive economic system developed from the very beginnings of open-air village markets. And while it ultimately exposed us to wider and wider circles of human connection, it too has also created divisions among individuals and groups, those who have and those who have not, those who control the markets and those who are controlled by it. Stepping back, it's easy to see how a shift from a deep respect for the world and its creatures to a feeling of separateness and superiority has undermined human progress on the emotional level. What would it take, or is it even possible, to return to a more connected relationship with the earth and all its inhabitants, including other human beings, where we can all flourish together? I think the answer rests in our own sense of humility and the kind of power that goes with that. It rests in our willingness to try in the face of what might seem insurmountable odds. But we are in fact called to this work as Unitarian Universalists as we strive to live our espoused values in the world, especially our stated Unitarian Universalist values of interdependence, pluralism, justice, transformation, generosity, and equity, each with their accompanying covenants that call us to specific work, all centered around the power and the practice of love. These values, lived fully and powered by love, we believe are the path to the world that we dream about, a world where indeed everyone can flourish with all our fellow creatures, those that walk, fly, crawl, or swim, along with every other plant and bacteria in all the lands and seas.
There are many ways to express love of community. This is the time in our service when we ask for your support for the programs, facilities, and staff that help enrich our communal experience. This morning's offering will be greatly received. If you're watching online, please use the information on the screen to send a gift. In the spirit of trust and generosity, we gratefully accept these offerings. Before we start, Abby would like to say something about the music she will be playing. I heard it when she was playing earlier, and it's an incredibly beautiful song. So, Abby.
Thank you. When Sean spoke with Lupe and Iriana last week about the music for today's service, they informed him that the Son Jarocho music was important to their movement. And so we started researching, and I wanted to tell you some of what we learned so you have some context for a couple of our selections today. Son Jarocho is a 300-year-old regional folk music style originating in Veracruz, Mexico, which combines musical aspects of three cultures: indigenous, Spanish, and African, by way of enslaved people from the Caribbean coming to the Gulf Coast of Mexico. From the beginning, Son Jarocho was subversive and gave voice to the marginalized, and has become a unifying force in the labor and immigrants' rights movements of Mexican Americans across the United States. I'm playing two pieces in this tradition today. The prelude was a piece inspired by the Son Jarocho style, and I'm about to play a piano arrangement of a famous song called La Llorona. La Llorona translates to the weeping or wailing woman and tells the story of a ghostly figure from Mexican folklore who cries out for her children who have been drowned in a river. While many interpretations and variations of the story exist throughout the Latin American world, one interpretation sees La Llorona as a symbol of the pain and grief Mexican Americans feel as their identity and culture are being criminalized by oppressive forces.
The ushers may now come forth and receive your offering.
Sean enjoys doing his research. And last week he described for us the use of African American spirituals in our services as one of care and of honor, making sure we acknowledge the unknown authors and the circumstances under which the songs had been written, remembering always that they are songs of resistance. We're going to sit at the welcome table is no different, only here it is especially important that we take care not to place ourselves in the middle of the text. The table we are talking about is not ours to set. It is a table of life where there is room for all, for everyone just as they are, and we are just but joyful participants, no more or no less deserving than anyone else. It is a humble table as common as the wind that touches us without discrimination, as common as the life-giving water we all must share. Last week we talked about emancipation and how it might feel to be fully free. This table represents that freedom. Freedom for the farm worker as well as for the executive bound up in the system. Freedom from the fears that have held us apart. Freedom from the want and the greed that has divided us. It is still a song of resistance. So far, just a dream. But it is a worthy dream. A place where we can all flourish together. Let's rise in body or spirit and sing our closing hymn. We're going to sit at the welcome table. It's number 407 in the gray hymnal. Sit at the welcome table. We're gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days, hallelujah. We're gonna sit at the welcome table. Gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. All kind of people around that table. All kinds of people around that table one of these days, hallelujah. All kinds of people around that table. Gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. No fancy style at the welcome table. No fancy style at the welcome table one of these days, hallelujah. No fancy style at the welcome table. Gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. We're gonna sit at the welcome table. We're gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days, hallelujah. We're gonna sit at the welcome table. Gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. Go out into the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering, honor all beings. Have a wonderful day.